Okay, so then let's put Travon Walker then to the Jaguars at number 1. Then we can just kind of auto lock in Aidan Hutchinson to the Lions at number 2.
I wouldn't say that.
You would not say that.
Is there more of a domino effect this year than other years in the top 10?
I think so.
Yes, but also not the way you think about dominoes. So dominoes is like, like
forget
one
everything
line.
you've ever thought about dominoes.
Yeah, throw all the information about dominoes out the window. But like dominoes, like, all right, if X then Y, right? Whereas this year it's more like if X then Y or Z, also A and B, and then if Z then A, right?
God damn it!
It's more like when the line of dominoes in the weird domino video you're watching on YouTube suddenly becomes like a huge picture, right? Where it's just like rows upon rows of dominoes all crashing at the same time. They like stack the dominoes on top of each other, and like those towers come down. That's the domino effect.
It's like if every domino had several dimensions.
Well, it starts because we don't know
like
who's going to go number 1.
Multiverse dominoes.
We really don't know who's going to go number 1. So if we're doing this, let's start with the Jaguars. So this week, Travon Walker, the edge rusher out of Georgia, officially overtook Aidan Hutchinson from Michigan as the betting favorite to go number 1. We've talked about this a lot, but I think Travon Walker, Nate Tice had a great example this week, basically being like, in a draft full of doubles, Travon Walker is a home run swing, strikeout, home run, I don't know, high upside. We can put aside whether we think that's a good idea or not. What do you two actually think is going to happen with the Jaguars taking Hutchinson or Walker? DK, what do you think? What do you think actually happens?
I think 60-40, I'm feeling like Travon Walker is the pick. And I think it's because Trent Baalke likes him.
The GM of the Jaguars.
The GM of the Jaguars, he's long established that he values length at the pass rush position in particular.
And we learned that Hutchinson has little T-Rex arms.
Hutchinson has short arms. And so everything else being equal, and look, they're both pretty good prospects. They're both very athletic. They're both, have that upside that you can come into the NFL. And I could see either of these guys eventually turn into 10+ sack guys. I would say Travon Walker is more of a projection to the NFL than Hutchinson. I think Hutchinson, you kind of know what you're getting, but at the end of the day, like, I think the length thing does matter, and Walker, I think is more athletic. So
60-40, you think Walker. So what do you think the Jaguars do?
If it's between Walker and Hutch, like those are the only two options.
Well, no, fine. No, whoever you think they take. I just got a thought though.
If they took Hutch at this point, I'd be stunned. I don't think Hutch is the pick for the Jags. I think it's between Walker and then their top tackle, which is Ike Mekwonu at NC State.
Yeah.
From my understanding of how things were divided up when we were sifting through these weeds, Walker was the GM's guy. Mekwonu is Doug Peterson, the head coach's guy, and then Hutch was ownership's guy, right? And that always had Hutch in this kind of pole position because ownership at any time can press the red button, pull a shoot.
Right.
We own the team. We're drafting Hutch. For there to be such a strong move this weekend and then into Monday of Schefter reporting, and I think Garofalo was the other one who had the report, but don't quote me on that. Schefter plus somebody else had the whole, like, I would be surprised if it's Hutchinson thing. Like, at one moment, that indicates to me that ownership told Baalke and ownership told Peterson as well. We're not going to make the pick. We're not going to pull the shoot. They still can. But that makes it, I think, very unlikely because you saw that movement. So to me, it's between Walker, who's the GM's guy, and then Mekwonu, who's the head coach's guy. The GM is the guy who turns in the pick. I'd put it like 75% Walker, 25% Icky right now.
Yeah, Heifetz, I told you last week, I was like, I think if I got to make the choice now, it's going to be Walker. And it felt really bizarre saying it then, and it's like almost even more, it's almost even more bizarre now, feeling like kind of confident it's going to be Walker.
I think it's crazy because we all just started assuming they wouldn't take a tackle because they franchise tag Cam Robinson, but like if I'm Doug Peterson, I still want to protect Trevor Lawrence. Like, this is the most important part of the team. I feel like if I were making this pick, I still would take Ike Mekwonu if that's the guy. But we feel like Travon Walker is going to be the guy though. You said 75-25, Solak?
Yeah, that'd be my confidence gauge right now.
Okay, so then let's put Travon Walker then to the Jaguars at number 1. Then we can just kind of auto lock in Aidan Hutchinson to the Lions at number 2.
I wouldn't say that.
You would not say that.
He's kind of the ultimate, knee biter or whatever the hell Dan Campbell calls it, right? Aidan Hutchinson feels like a perfect Dan Campbell guy.
Yeah, Hutchinson is like I would say the favorite maybe to be the number 2 pick right now. But I think there's a lot of smoke lately. From well-connected people saying that Kayvon Thibodeau is potentially, like sort of the dark horse surprise pick for number 2, even with Hutchinson on the board, which would be like a shock for everyone, I think. But
even though we're going back to how it was originally.
Yeah, I think there's a chance it's Thibodeau, not Hutchinson, with both of them on the board.
Ben,
Really?
right now, should I bet that Aidan Hutchinson does not go in the top 2?
Yeah. So right now you can get Hutchinson numbers over 1.5 with like absurd juice, right? Like minus like 300 or something like that. To me, I believe Hutchinson's not the pick at 1 period. So there's no juice that is bad, right? Like obviously I got to pay more to make more, but that's the nature of betting. So there's that over 1.5, which first just gives you the 2 just in case. If not 2, then he's the pick at 3, or he's the pick at 4, or he's the pick at 5. You're not going to find any over under 2.5 lines, but you will find exact pick. Hutchinson at 3, I think plus 800 right now. It was like plus a lot more a while ago.
Yeah.
But at 4, it's like plus 10,000, 5,000. At 5, it's like plus 10,000. Those will be the bets that you would make if you're assuming he makes it past 2, which right now, the Jags a couple weeks ago were the coin flip, where it was like, 50-50, maybe it's Walker, maybe it's Hutch, I don't really know. Now it's the Lions of the coin flip.
Wait, so to be clear, we're talking about Hutchinson is still the more likely than not to go to the Lions, and there's more doubt than we're saying? Or are you saying that you actually think it's more likely than not he does not go to the Lions?
You said it was a coin flip.
Yeah, and right now, if you ask me to pick who's the pick at 2, assuming Walker's the pick at 1, I think it's 50-50 between Thibodeau and Hutch, and I think the GM likes Thibodeau more because that's what we've heard out of Lions reporters.
That sounds like you should bet the over on 2.5 to me if you can get plus 800.
But that's the thing is you don't get that line. You don't like Hutch over 2.5 is not available anywhere. At least last I checked. But you can bet Hutch exact 3, Hutch exact 4, Hutch exact 5, and probably one of those is going to hit.
Yeah, so I totally agree with Ben. I think this was the hardest pick for me. I did my mock draft. I ended up going Hutchinson because it's to me it's like 51-49. I didn't know what to pick. I just went with one that felt more obvious, I guess, because honestly, if you don't put Hutchinson here, it fucks up the rest of the entire top 10, which is exactly why I was saying there's a pretty realistic world where I get all 10 of the mock draft picks wrong in the top 10 because Hutchinson, I think, is a pivot point that fucks up everything. It's that, the multiverse dominoes thing where if Hutchinson is there at 3, maybe that means the Texans take Hutchinson instead of whatever the 3 guys that we think they're going to take. And then that means the Jets take some other different guy because they fell further than you thought, blah, 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 down the line. And then, so this has a chance, basically Hutchinson not going number 1 and then maybe not going number 2 has the chance to make everything just a complete clusterfuck.
Can we live in this new fraction of the multiverse for a second? So if we
I want to live here too.
If we suspend disbelief a bit here and we assume that Hutchinson does not go 1 to the Jags or 2 to the Lions, do you guys think he will go 3 to the Texans? Would the Texans take him? Is that who they want?
Yes. I think so. John McClain of I don't even know what John McClain. He's just
Chronicle?
a Texans guy.
He retired. Now he's just a
he's just the man.
guy.
It's just John McClain. This is not John McClain of being John McClain.
He is his own person. Yeah.
He did cover for 50 years.
He said that if one of Walker or Hutch somehow makes it to 3, that's the pick without blinking. That's 2 seconds. That's the pick. You've heard a lot of Ahmad Sauce Gardner love, corner out of Cincinnati. A couple weeks ago. Now you're hearing a lot of Derek Stingley love. I think that Nick Caserio runs a tight ship, and I think that it's tough to figure out who they like.
Yeah.
I think trade back out of 3 is still possible. I think tackle Aquanu or Neal is still possible. But I will say that I think if one of Hutch or Walker makes it down to 3, I would expect that to be the pick for them. And so Hutch at 3 plus 800 is something that I think is still recent, still available, and is a good bet.
So we're going to say, if you want to see DK's mock draft where he's giving, so basically DK's giving, we're giving Travon Walker to the Jaguars at 1. And if you want to see the world where the Lions take Aidan Hutchinson, go to NFLDraft.TheRinger.com and check out DK's mock draft.
That's the choose your own adventure I've gone on. Yeah.
Where Travon Walker goes to the Jaguars number 1, and then the Lions take Kayvon Thibodeau at number 2. Mm-hmm. The Texans are going to take Aidan Hutchinson at 3. And now the Jets are on the clock at 4.
It's all fucked from there. It's all fucked from there.
This is really interesting, though.
You see the problem? We've gotten through barely a tenth of the draft. And
it's not all fucked. No, it's not all fucked. This is fun.
It's
fun.